ANBERNIC RG35XX Plus.
MIYOO mini game console. Model MIYOO Mini V4.
So you can see the size difference, dude. Like so first of all, comfort wise, and let me go over the actual console itself before I compare it to this one, which I absolutely love. That is my favorite handheld. So, which is why I'm comparing it to it. So anyways, so the cool thing about this one, man, is it really is. It's so simple to just take with you wherever you want to go. Everything that is on it runs well. But people that are grabbing this for certain games, like the plumber guy that runs around and bumps boxes, or the human with the green suit and a Santa Claus type hat that runs around and collects things and whatever. You get my point. I think you all sort of kind of have an idea of what I'm speaking of right now. Those are not on this, okay? So you're gonna have to grab those yourself, whereas stuff like this does have that, okay? And I'm guessing that the reason that this one has it and this one doesn't is because this is from a place where it doesn't really matter what you sell and can do whatever you apparently want to, like the 12 terabyte Kinhank drive. How they're able to offer that blows me away. No idea. Like, we're talking about brand new games that are like on the market currently, and it's just a 12 terabyte drive full of brand new video games sitting right on Amazon. No idea how they're getting away with that, but I'm guessing it's because they're from a place that is not in America and they can get away with whatever they want to, whereas this one is probably from an area where they can't just go and grab a full library from a modern console and give it to you for whatever. So yeah, the games that are on this are good though. The library that it comes with are good. It's just the company kind of has to follow what any other normal human that doesn't live in an area that can just whatever, get rid of whatever they want. I'm guessing that's because the company is from that. But so I'm gonna be honest right now, okay? If I had to rate this 1 out of 100, I'm just being honest. It's not that it's bad. I would give it a 50, okay? So the reason I would give it a 50 is because it really is just too small. All right, like if you have a little kid, this would be okay for that because they're also small. I'm guessing you don't have a giant kid. So like for like a kid, this would be good, but for an adult, man, it feels so weird. Like, I mean, like, look at my thumbnail is literally the size of all 4 buttons, and then the D-pad also size of all 4 buttons, and then they're cramped. And look at me, I'm not a very big fella. I'm a pretty like slim fella. I'm not like a gigantic like human being, dude. Okay. So if you're bigger than I am, you're probably not gonna like this even more than I don't like it. That was actually that's because I don't really like it, dude. I'm not gonna use this thing, okay? Like I'm gonna be using this fella, which is it's such a hard compare, because this thing is my favorite handheld, like period. It's the triggers, the buttons, so crisp, bro, so crisp. And the D-pad, like it's almost like first of all, you don't feel it. Like it's a normal D-pad. You see this, it's a normal D-pad, but it's almost like there's a joystick down in there. And it's like, you can kind of see the little area where there's like the freeness of where the D-pad like sits. Whereas this one doesn't. I mean, you can see it does, but it's not the same. Like the rivets are like, it's not like straight down so that the D-pad can wibble and wobble everywhere. It kind of just has it's like a slanted, whereas this one has like straight down. And like you can't like really like whatever. You can't like wobble your way around. Whereas this one you can. Like you can kind of see how it like, you see how my thumb is like kind of like triggering, like it's like a it's like, I'm gonna compare it to an Xbox controller because this is actually no, the D-pad on this feels, but think about it, this D-pad feels better than an actual Xbox controller. Okay, so I know it's an unfair comparison, but anyway, the reason I'm talking about the D-pad on this is it feels like the joystick. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I had to go grab the controller because I couldn't think. It literally kind of feels like a joystick, but at the same time, you have the exact feeling of a D-pad while it has that joystick. It's such, dude, it's literally my favorite handheld, period. Factual. And then the buttons have a hybrid feeling of rubber plasticness. Whereas this feels cheap. It feels plastic. Okay, so I mean, I guess it doesn't feel like cheap, but it feels the same as the X. It's such, dude. I know it's such an unfair comparison right now. Because, dude, this feels like, which is all personal preference, right? So this feels like kind of plasticky as well. And you can kind of like click it. This is one of my favorite controllers too, by the way. So I'm just, keep in mind we're comparing like my favorites of the most favorite to the whatever this, okay? But so this feels like okay, so let's actually use a good example of this for what I'm trying to say, because I can't come up, I'm having brain fog at the current moment. So you know how you have normal keyboards that are just like, you got the blue switches, brown switches, red switch, or cherry switches. Then you got the full-blown mechanical, super duper clicky, like tap, 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 and everybody within a 10-mile radius can hear you typing. And then you got the keyboards that don't. They have that like silentness to them. So this has that like, that silentness, very like, feels very, I don't know how, it feels very premium. And for me, dude, like I want that like no noise because it's a little handheld. I don't want to be hearing click, 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 click with the audio coming out of the thing. You know what I mean? Whereas this, I'm hoping that you can kind of hear. I have a audio filter on my microphone, but this has like a clicky, like mechanical type sound to it, which to me, dude, at least for a console, just, it feels cheap. It just does. And then this also has that really rugged, rubbery feel to it. And then it also has the buttons on the back, which I really like this feature with, which is why I love this controller so much, is you can turn them off. Okay. Which if you're playing a platformer or you're playing like a indie game, I promise you will end up hitting those more than you think you would. So anyway, all right, so let's actually wrap it up because I keep doing that. So in comparison, if you have a younger kid that wants to get into gaming, this is going to be very good for them, or if you're just smaller, this is going to be good for you because it's not going to have the same. This is such a good example because I know people can relate to, or I'm hoping people can relate to this. This is the Ultra or Plus. I don't know why I can't remember, but it's so big that like you have to use your other hand, or you have to, whatever. You kind of have to get used to. You got to get used to this, which some people may not think it's a big deal, but I promise you, when you're on a walk and you're listening to Spotify and you got to click something up there, dude, you best be getting a case if you're going to get an Ultra, all right? Because you're going to drop this a lot, just like I have. And you better get a good case, too, because this is not a cheap phone. So you can kind of see where I'm getting at with that. Whereas, like, if you just got the normal S24, dude, it would just be perfect, all right? So this, to me, would be this to like a younger kid. but I do like the feel of these buttons. It is like the GameSir Xbox controller, whereas this is like the normal Xbox controller, and this is like, I want to see if it's the PS5. Oh. All right, so the Wii U controller, or the Wii U Pro. Yeah, Wii U Pro, and then we get the Nintendo 64. See, the Nintendo 64 controller feels like this. It's very rugged. It's very rubbery feeling. It's very premium, which I like, which is why I love this controller. It's also very like, okay, that was that. Oh, it's a trigger. I was gonna say, what was that clickiness? Okay, so you get my point, man. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Good, smaller people. It's just, for me, it's, you can kind of see my thumbs are like, you see, like, my thumb is like hitting, like my thumb is like, so like if you're playing like a fast-paced action platformer, dude, your thumbs are gonna be like like you're gonna be like miscombobulated and stuff, and you're gonna be hitting your thumbs. So it's just a little bit too small for me personally. But again, you get my point. I keep repeating myself. Catch you guys in the next one.